Behind the Brand features the people who are making things happen. Get the insight to grow your biz from experts who've done it. Get behind the brand. Sponsored by Raven Internet Marketing Tools.
Hi, I'm Bryan Elliott. Welcome to another episode of Behind the Brand. Today I'm here with author, speaker, entrepreneur, and businessman Lewis Howes. Lewis, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me, Brian.
You betcha. One of the first questions I always ask my guests, how did you get this job? Tell us about your journey, where you've been, where you are now.
I started off playing professional football a few years back in 2007. Went into the NFL draft, did some NFL combines. Wasn't good enough to play in the NFL, so I played in the Arena Football League first, and my goal was to work my way up through the rankings to play in the NFL.
Still a very exciting sport.
Very exciting, very physical, very fast, all indoor football. In the second game of my rookie season, I was playing wide receiver. I was a starter, and I was running out to catch a pass. And again, it's a very narrow field and very short field. So I was running. I went out for an out pass, an out route, and I dove into the wall, snapping my wrist right into the wall, and then landing on it on the way down. And at the moment, I realized that something was wrong, but I didn't want to act like it was because I was a tough guy and thought I could deal with the pain.
Play through pain.
Exactly. I'd broken 6 ribs before in college. I've torn both AC joints, broken my ankles, so I could deal with the pain. Ended up finishing up the game with just a lot of pain, a lot of agony. Had an X-ray right after the game was over. Went to the hospital, had an X-ray. The doctor said, here's the wrist, it's broken. You've got, I think there's 5 or 6 bones in your wrist. One of them was split in half. He said, you can play the rest of the season if you want, if you can deal with the pain, but I really recommend that you have surgery right now. I said, you know what, I'm superhuman. I can deal with the pain. And I put pads on, I put a helmet on, I'm a tough guy.
Did your coach know all this, by the way?
I hid it from my coach for the first half of the season. I just taped it up, and then eventually they found out midway through. I told the doctor not to tell him. I didn't want him to know because I knew if he thought I had a broken bone, he wouldn't play me. So, but I still knew I could play above everyone else with one good hand. So I had this injury, I had this cast on for 6 months, and I didn't have a job. This was late 2007, early 2008. The economy was really bad then. People were laying off employees that had MBAs and masters and everything else. And I left early without a college degree to go play in the NFL. So I had this challenge from that point.
I mean, it must have been devastating.
It was heartbreaking. I mean, imagine again, if you had a dream and you were on your path to achieving that dream and you had no backup plan, no backup dream, no skills, no assets, no nothing.
That you have discovered yet.
Exactly. That you hadn't discovered yet. But you had this focus and you were so determined to achieve one thing.
All the eggs in one basket. It's
all the eggs in one basket.
Yeah.
And then it's gone. From one injury, it was all gone in a second. And I remember being extremely depressed for the first couple months, thinking, what am I going to do next? This is what I want to do, but I don't want to coach because it's just not what I'm passionate about. I'm passionate about being an athlete, being competitive, and winning.
How do you deal with that when you seemingly lose everything?
I feel like I was raised with a good mindset. My parents raised me well. My dad instilled in me a couple of good things. He always said that I can achieve anything I want. I think a lot of dads tell their kids that, but he said you can achieve anything you want, no matter how big, how small. And he really instilled this powerful mindset into me at an early age that when I was always down, when I'd get injured in college or high school, I knew that I'd be able to bounce back and something good would come from the opportunity or the experience. So after a couple months, I realized that, I need to figure out what I'm going to do next. I can't let this bring me down. I said, I've got to figure out how to get off my sister's couch and just afford my own living space. I wanted to feel like a human being again and have my own food and basically have my own roof.
But I think you mentioned some important things that may be subtle to some of the people watching, and that is, when times are tough, who do you rely on? You've got this great support system in your family, and you were humble enough, to go back to your sister.
It was tough.
And lean on them a little bit.
There was one moment where I started applying for jobs because my sister, after 6 months, she was like, Lewis, you got to start paying rent. You got to do something. You're getting these opportunities. You got to start making moves. You can't just sit here and live off me for years. And I was like, I don't want to, but I don't want to work for someone. I remember the moment actually, because I was searching on Craigslist for local stuff. I was getting stuff nationally, but I didn't want to leave right then. I went on Craigslist, I was looking for different sports marketing opportunities. And I applied for one job in Columbus that I thought this could be a good fit. I applied for a job for a sports marketing company. And I remember they said, we love your profile, we love your resume, we love this, we love your background, your athletic mindset. Will you come in for an interview? And I had an interview set up for a certain point. It was like 10 a.m. at one day. And I remember getting ready for this interview and I just said, I can't do it. I can't go through the interview. Because I thought I was going to get it. And I was like, I don't want to turn them down, so I just didn't go.
Bailed out.
I bailed out, and I realized from then on out, I had to just go full force with what I knew I was passionate about, which was my lifestyle design, right? I wanted to create the right lifestyle for myself and build a business around that.
See, that all sounds really great, but when you have no money in your bank account.
It wasn't easy.
It's a whole lot.
And I had to convince my sister to let me stay, right?
Yeah.
So here's what I did. People started reaching out and said, I will pay you to help me on LinkedIn strategy.
Yeah, so you're pimping out profiles.
Yeah, I was helping people with profiles. I was like, all right, I'll do it for $50, right? I was rich with $50. So I started doing it for $50. They would come back to me within a week or two and say, I just had these people reach out to me. I got this contact, I got this client, I got this deal, I got this job. And they started promoting me to their friends. You got to talk to Lewis about LinkedIn, it'll hook you up.
Getting traction. Okay.
Exactly. So I started getting a lot of people coming to me and saying, will you do a profile overview and strategy session with me? So I said, sure. I started bumping up to $100, $150, $200, $250. And I remember I charged $300 for my last person I worked on, and I was just like, this isn't worth it anymore. Doing one-on-one work for a couple hours, helping someone build their empire is not worth it, right?
Wasn't scaling.
Wasn't scaling. And I just started to realize, I learned, I wish I'd have learned this stuff in college or in business school, but I didn't do that. I didn't have the opportunity. So I just learned through mistakes and trial and error what I wanted. And I learned fast. I learned pretty fast. What I started to do after that, I said, you know what? People need to connect with others to build their business. They need great relationships. They need to learn about other people, what's available in the local market.
Right.
So I started creating these niche professional networking groups in different cities on LinkedIn.
Okay.
And I started to throw LinkedIn networking events. I said, let's bring people together, and I know you do this as well. I said, I tried my first one in St. Louis, Missouri. I had a group of around 5,000 people there. So I sent them an email to the group, because you can message the entire group member base. I said, I'm going to host a live kind of business networking event. It's going to be a 3-hour thing. We're going to do it at this restaurant/bar.
Yep.
I found the place, found the venue, set the date, started promoting it about a month before. And I was like, I have no clue how to run an event. I've only been to a couple.
Yeah.
But I think I can make some money maybe. So I offered 5 sponsorship tables for $250. I sold those out really quickly. So I made $1,000 before the event even happened. Then I go to the event, I'm like, hopefully people show up, because I have no clue. But a bunch of people had RSVP'd through LinkedIn event section. Okay. So I get to the event, and people just start rushing through the doors.
Wow.
And we get 350 people at the first event. And it was a free event, so I was like, you know what? I made $1,000. I built up this relationship. I met each person. I shook everyone's hand.
Right.
They were getting deals, getting referrals from each other, really building a relationship. So I was like, great, this is value.
You're becoming visible.
Yes. They were starting to know who I was. I wasn't just a group owner. I said, I wonder if I can do this in multiple cities, and I wonder if I can charge money. Because I was like, $1,000 is great, I'm rich. But I had to travel to St. Louis, it took time and energy.
Right.
And so I started hosting more. I started charging $5.
Yeah. 350
people still showed up. I charged $10, $20. People still showed up. I had 500 people show up for a $20 event one time.
Yeah.
I started charging $500 for sponsors. I said, I wonder, this restaurant is making a lot of money off of 500 people who are buying drinks and food and appetizers.
Yeah.
So I talked to the manager. I said, any chance you can give me a 10% split on all food and bars and beer sales?
Yeah.
I said, perfect. You keep bringing people, I'll give you a cut. So I was leveraging from sponsorships, door fees, food and bar cut. And I said, you know what? Everyone's asking me about LinkedIn. Everyone keeps coming back and saying, how are you doing this? Yeah. I said, through LinkedIn. They said, can you help me advance my profile? Give me some tips, some strategy. I said, I'm not going to do consulting anymore. But a friend approached me and said, let's do a book together. I bet you could sell a lot of these at these events. You get a 500 people event, you could probably sell a lot of these. They're all people from LinkedIn.
Yep.
So we wrote the book. That was my first product.
What book was that?
It's called Linked Working.
Okay.
And it's how to basically build your business on LinkedIn and
okay.
build your relationships. Wrote that book before when I was 25. And I almost flunked out English in high school and college. So for me to write a book was a huge achievement for me. But luckily I had a co-author who really helped guide me along the way. So did a book tour, did a 7-city book tour. and had like 3,000 people show up in these 7 cities. All I used was LinkedIn to promote the events and the book. And we sold a few thousand copies in the first week. And but I still realized, you know what? Selling these books is not making me a lot of money. I'm getting my name out there and I'm kind of building my brand for myself. Doing these events are great, but I'm not really making a whole lot of money still. I was making $2,000 a night, maybe $3,000. But again, I was kind of getting burnt out from hosting all these events. You know, it's a lot of energy, it's a lot of work.
Talk to us about how important the list is. We talk about lists and talk to us about that.
Yeah, I mean, all smart marketers understand that it's all the power of the list. The larger the list and the better relationship with the list, the more you're able to sell to them. Whether it's
what is define kind of what the list is. Walk us through what it is, how you build it, how you maintain it.
The list is basically an email list of, you can either have names and emails, or you can have emails, phone numbers, and as much information as you want. I just want an email from a person. But eventually people are going to need information. They're going to need software, training, tools, resources, live events, virtual events. They're going to want to do something and they want to take action if you set it up in the right way.
So you used LinkedIn at first to build this list, and then what did you do? You somehow were able to extract the emails from LinkedIn? Because I know in the beginning they used to allow you to export that list of emails, but then because of privacy things, they took it away from group members. Yeah, your messages, that email list or email today, still in 2011, going into 2012, is still the most.
It's the most powerful thing you can build right now online. And so what I do is I'll send emails to the LinkedIn groups because you can't export the database anymore. But there's autoresponders set up. So every time someone joins the group, I send the message out to them automatically through LinkedIn.
Right.
They get sent to a webinar page or my newsletter page where I have them opt in. So I get them on my list that way, or every week I'm sending them an update for a free training. I'm always giving away free value, free content.
Okay.
Sending them to a webinar page where they can register their name and their email, and I get them on my list that way.
This isn't like, some trap. I mean, this is something of value that you've built so that people really see the value in it, eh?
Yeah, of course. So that's kind of where it starts, but it's all in the list. The bigger the list and the better relationship with the list, the more money your business is going to make.
So some people would say, okay, I have a list, but my open rates are terrible, or people are opting out. What kind of advice would you give them?
I would say that you're not delivering enough value. The one thing that works well with myself and my business partner, Sean, is we do 60-minute webinar training with free content. And we bring in experts from all over the world that they would never have access to deliver this content. At the end, we've delivered so much value, built the trust, built the relationship. When we offer a product or a service at a reasonable price, it converts extremely well. People want to buy. It's the law of reciprocity. The more you give people, the more they feel like they want to give in return.
Yeah, and they share it with their friends.
They share it with their friends. It's great value. It's been a great rapport. You build your list from them sharing it as well. So
give us sort of a flash forward where you started, with being happy with $1,000, with the sponsorships.
Yep.
Where are you at now with your internet business?
Yeah, it all came back to the lifestyle. I realized, I don't want to work this hard for a couple $1,000s in a month. I really want to, and it's never about the money for me. It's more about the lifestyle, and being able to do the things I want. Whether it's having a lot of money or a little bit of money, as long as I get to do the things I want, and have that lifestyle freedom, if you will, that's what it's about. The money obviously brings that, but I've always wanted to, win. I'm extremely competitive. I want to do things bigger and better no matter what. I don't want to stay mediocre and just stay at a level of averageness, right?
Is it still a game for you?
It is a game.
Yeah.
I would say that I'm a artistic businessman, right? Because I love art and music and artists, but I can't do it that well. I'm horrible. So I try to use my artistic abilities on the football field. I try to make it a beautiful piece of art in a sense, right?
Absolutely.
And so I love being able to create something and watch it mold and form into something interesting that I've come from an idea onto something else, and it really add value to people's lives or businesses or whatever I'm trying to accomplish.
So talk to us about where you are in terms of sales. Where are you today?
Yeah, so a few years ago, early 2008 till now, 2011, I went from making a couple thousand a month to now our company has done over $1 million in sales. I think it's $1.5 million in sales this year alone.
Wow.
And it's based on creating educational courses for small business owners, teaching them how to get more leads, traffic, and sales through social media marketing, basically. So we create these trainings add value via webinars and email marketing, and then sell our products at the end.
So it's all digital products. It's all online stuff that you can get.
Yeah, all digital downloads, instant access.
Okay.
And our goal is to give 10 to 100 times the value based on the price. And when we do that and continue to over-deliver, every time we come out with a new product, our customers always want to get access, and they always buy because we over-deliver. Creating digital goods is very, in my opinion, it's extremely smart because it takes, for us, it takes us a couple $1,000s to create a product, if that, depending on how nice we want it to look, the design, things like that. And we can actually sell a product before we've even created it. So we can say to our list, we can do a webinar, have 1,000 people on and say, you know what, we're going to come out with this special training. It's going to come out in a week, but I want you guys to sign up for it now.
Yeah.
So go ahead and sign up for it now, and we'll let you know when it comes out next week.
So the pre-sale.
If no one signs up, why should we spend the time to create something and spend money on it when no one likes the idea? So it's very easy to see who likes what ideas.
Interesting. It's a slick model. What would you say to the people who have got that sandwich shop, who are selling yogurt in and out, day in and day out? What tips and advice would you give to them about possibly incorporating some sort of social business or social strategy, or even maybe a digital good into what they're doing?
I would create a membership site for the local business. Obviously, you want to create your own social network of your friends and really get people to come in every day as much as possible with a daily deal using Foursquare, things like that. But I would create a membership site for people and say $20 for the month or something, depending on the product, 20 to $50 a month, and you get a special deal every month. You get
so it's a loyalty program.
Yeah, loyalty program, but you're just making a membership site.
How do they do that? I mean, do they throw up a website? Do they create a Facebook page?
There's lots of great, obviously you'd want to start with Twitter, Facebook, and LinkedIn to really build your social network channels. And we're using a lot of YouTube right now. Video is huge. The more you can showcase your customers using video, the better.
Yeah, video is huge.
It's huge. It's huge. But what I would do is just use a membership site like Wishlist. And you can Google Wishlist, and you can use their membership site. It's based on WordPress, and it's a great membership site that you can use, platform. Very inexpensive, and the team over there, they're really great as well. So,
where have you gone wrong? And I want you to talk about that from the perspective of sharing these insights with the people who are trying to figure that out right now.
Can I talk about the 3 things that I found out that I'm actually really good at first, and I'll tie it in? A good friend of mine, Jonathan Fields, who's an author of a new book called Uncertainty, he started telling me about his new book idea about a year ago. He said, a lot of people face uncertainty in their business, in their life, relationships, everything. And he asked me, what are the 3 things that you're actually really good at in business? And I had to think about it. I was like, you know what? I don't know if to be really specific. I was like, I'm good at webinars, I'm good at this. But he was like, make it very specific. And I realized there's 3 things. And the first one is answering your question. First one is, I'm not afraid of achieving the highest level of success, in my mind at least, the highest level of success in society's mind, and I'm not afraid to be the biggest failure in the world. Because I know each failure I have is just making me one step higher to reaching that success. And it's probably necessary for me to experience that failure in order for me to achieve the success. So I'm not afraid of a big platform or being humiliated.
Okay.
The second of the 2 things is I'm really good at building relationships. I felt like connecting with people, whether it be live events, online, offline, that's really helped me build my business and build my career.
So you still, all the stuff that you're doing online, you still feel like the relationship part of it's key?
It's probably the biggest part of it, yeah. The relationships, all about the relationships. Your biggest asset is your list and your relationships. If you lose your list but still have the relationships, you can leverage that to build a company or to do something, right? If you get a job, whatever it may be.
Okay.
The third and final thing is that I'm really good at getting people to take action. That's something I've become good at, whether it be if I wanted to vote for someone, to donate something, to buy a product, to sign up, to join this network. I've become really good at getting people to move towards something.
You want to know what I'm good at?
What are you good at?
I'm good at seeing talent in other people. I have this gift, like I can see potential. And what I see in you is a lot of what you've already talked about, and that's likability. And maybe it's something that we underestimate, but I think this likability factor is huge. We see it in the movies that we watch, and if we like the main character, it ends up being this great movie.
Right.
If we don't, it's a dud.
Right.
But you are very genuine, you're very likable.
Thank you.
And part of that charisma or that positive attitude, I think, is infectious. And especially, during this climate, between the time you started in 2008 and even now when the economy's still struggling,
Right.
People are looking for hope, don't you think?
Yeah.
And so you're in your own way, you're providing this hope,
Right.
this way out of maybe being buried under something that's not so good.
Right. I try at least.
I think it's excellent.
Yeah.
But what final tips and advice would you give to business owners who are trying to grow their business, marketers? What would you say to them?
Your best asset is relationships. So whether you feel like you're introverted or extroverted, you've got to figure out how you can create powerful relationships with people online and offline. The best way to do that is to add value to their life and their business as much as possible.
Like how? Give us some examples.
Whether it be making introductions, even if you don't have a business or a product or a service, you can make introductions for other people all day long. So build a network and make introductions. By bringing people together and helping them grow their business, they're always going to think of you as being the champion of that relationship.
Okay.
And they're going to spread your message for you. So build as many connections as possible to be a champion for as many people as possible.
Chris Brogan says, be at the elbow of every deal.
Exactly.
Is that what you're talking about?
Exactly, yeah. So building relationships is the first thing, I think. Second thing is adding value through your own products or your services, whatever it is your business you want to have. Make sure it over-delivers. Under-promise and over-deliver, obviously. And that's the two main things I would say.
Well, thanks so much for spending some time with us. I really appreciate you, and wish you much continued success in the future.
Appreciate it.
Thanks, man.
Thanks, Bryan.
This Behind the Brand episode is brought to you by Raven Internet Marketing Tools. Powerful data and tools for online marketers. Get a free trial at raventools.com/behind.